Am I the asshole for giving my daughter's things back that were taken away as punishment? I'm 31 and my husband is 30. Our daughter is 7, and she found a puppy in the front yard and played with it. Turns out it belonged to our neighbors, who were looking for it. They accused her of stealing it, and my husband gave her extra chores. She refused to do them, saying she didn't steal the puppy. The neighbors came to apologize a bit later, as their son confessed to losing the puppy on a walk when he took its leash off. That's how it ended up on our yard. I came home that evening and my husband explained this. He said she should be disciplined for not doing the chores. I said she was right to not accept unearned punishment. He said it's the principle, and she should listen to her father. I said I would rather die than teach her that she should lay down and accept mistreatment. We argued and he called me unreasonable. AITA? No, you're not. He, however, is doing her best to teach her that he will punish her regardless of whether she's guilty or not. What he should have done was apologized for not believing her, apologized for not looking deeper into it, and apologized for imposing, and is still trying, to impose a punishment for an infraction she did not commit. It seems that he will complete mental gymnastics to prove he's never wrong. If he repeats this type of behavior, you will end up with a child who not only distrusts her father but also dislikes him, will keep him at a distance, and when the teenage years hit will actively show their disregard for him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but both your neighbors and your husband are. Why did your husband immediately believe the neighbors when they claim your daughter stole their puppy? Does he believe she has thievery tendencies? You are not wrong to cancel the extra chores, but I think your husband should probably take some parenting classes, and work on being a better parent. Not the asshole, your husband is trying to instill blind obedience. Your daughter obviously has strong critical thinking skills. Unfortunately, this will likely continue because a lot of parents want obedient children more than children that can think for themselves. Daughter is right. She didn't do it. Why do the punishment if you didn't do it? That is like you are pressed to say sorry for something you haven't done. Also, she is just 7. What kind of chores did he want her to do anyway? And she is already doing some chores anyway if I read this correctly. Honestly, sounds like you have a husband problem. Someone who can't say he was wrong. Not the asshole, your husband is. What principle is he teaching your daughter? That no matter if she is right or wrong, if someone with more power than her wants to punish her, it doesn't matter if she is innocent? Not the asshole. What principle is he trying to instill other than blind obedience? Fuck that. Am I the asshole for telling my brother's fiancée to grow up and stop trying to put her anger and trauma on me? My brother, Matt, 30 male, is engaged to Evelyn, 32 female. Matt is our parents' bio son. I'm 25 female, their adopted daughter. We have another sister who is a bio and 2 more brothers who are adopted. Our parents fostered many kids and adopted some of us. I always knew I was adopted. I was removed from an unsafe environment and didn't have any safe bio relatives. My bio family is tiny in terms of known, and none of them are good people. I'm glad I was adopted. I feel so lucky to have found a family who embraced the fact we were not biologically connected but loved us the same and didn't try to make it shameful. Those of us who were adopted have our own circumstances for being so. One of my brothers was orphaned and his biological parents wanted a family who would love and take care of him, and he got that with us. Matt's fiancée Evelyn was adopted as an infant and she has a lot of feelings about that. I understand why she has some complicated feelings regarding being adopted, and why she feels like her parents bought a child because they wanted one versus wanting to give a child a good life. Her adoptive parents wanted to erase her bio side and shamed her for ever having an interest in it, and they talked badly about her birth family her whole life. I don't think that was right or okay. But Evelyn is obsessed with making every adoptee feel the same way she does. She has spoken negatively about my parents, robbing 3 kids of their rights to have legal access to their biological family history and identity. She has suggested I was brainwashed by CPS into believing I was removed for safety reasons from my birth family and had no safe birth relatives. Spoiler alert. All my known birth relatives have all been to prison multiple times, and yes, I looked them up. She has told me I'm just traumatized and afraid to speak out and say I was denied my real family. I told her that's not how I feel. She told me it's how we all feel. That adopted kids are products in the US. I told Matt I couldn't take that, and I need to see him and Evelyn less if she can't stop. She keeps seeking me out though, and on Saturday, while she was in my parents' home and tried to bring it up again, I snapped. I couldn't stand her talking like that about the people who was in the home of, and I told her to grow up and accept people are different because only kids think everyone should feel the same, and that she needed to stop putting her anger and trauma on me because we don't feel the same. She said I was spiteful throwing that in her face. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. What does your brother do while she sits in your parents' home and talks shit about them? Do your parents know? Not the asshole. In advocacy spaces there's a few golden rules. Things like, don't talk about us, without us, i.e. don't represent us without letting us talk too. And a big one is, experiences may vary, and I cannot talk for you because I haven't walked in your shoes, i.e. what you've experienced I cannot imagine because I haven't lived your life. Evelyn is failing on both of those. Probably more. Has she got an adoption fetish? Is that why she's with your brother? How does he feel about all this nonsense? Not her, but the crap she's talking, and how will he reconcile this with having children with her? Evelyn, do you expect people to feel the way you feel about everything? Every insert race, sex, ethnicity to feel exactly how you feel on a topic. Then why adoptees who all have extremely different circumstances? Do you think my parents are your parents? Do you think they have the same motives? Why do you expect my parents to have acted like yours? Do you want me to assume a bunch of things about you because of insert characteristic here? Edit. Not the asshole. That girl needs some serious therapy to get over her issues instead of projecting them onto other people. To be frank, you were a lot more diplomatic than I would have been. What's your brother's take on her behavior? Has he stepped in, asked to knock it off? You all are obviously a family, parents, bio, non-bio. Where the hell does she get off with these comments? Not the asshole, so she shit talks your family, in their own home, for opening their hearts to children in need of stability and love? Have her explain their villainy, in front of everyone if she feels so strongly about it. Aside from the lunacy, what's truly troubling here is what on earth your brother is doing with her. I mean, he's the bio son of a family that adopted kids and he's marrying a woman that resents his own family values? This is very odd and calls into question just what kind of man he is. Does he agree with her? How does he respond when she's doing this in private, let alone at his parents' place? What a spineless man, not the asshole. Am I the asshole for kicking my ILs out and telling them to stay in their lane and mind their business? My wife, 26 female, was out of state last weekend with 2 of her friends. On Saturday while I, 26 male, was home playing video games, my wife's parents showed up to talk about something. They wanted to discuss my bio father. I grew up not knowing a thing about my bio father. My mom said he didn't want to know me. I believe my mom met my step-father when I was 2. As I found out years later, he was my mom's husband when she got pregnant with me, and my bio father was also married. Mom's husband left because he didn't want to raise her a fair child, but he missed her and they got back together when I was 2, but he always hated, resented me. I did not have a happy childhood. I did not have an extended family to make up for it. So when I was 18 I did Ancestry and found my bio father. This is when I learned the truth. I was rejected by him and his family at the time and told there was no place for me in their family or in their lives. When this happened I had made the mistake of telling people, and the responses I got were mostly, reach out to individual members like siblings and parents or cousins because surely someone will want to know. This became annoying because people could not grasp that it was more than just him who didn't want to know. They also couldn't understand my unwillingness to take the risk of finding more family by tracking individual members down. I stopped telling people after that. My wife always knew the full truth. She told me her parents might get a little hallmarky and want me to do the whole track down individuals thing, so I never gave them the full truth. I just said I could never find him. So I'll show up at the house while my wife is gone and they say they hurt my wife, and I discuss the rejection via my paternal bio side. They said they understood me lying, but they were there to convince me to take the leap I refused to make in the past and find more family members I could reach out to. I told them I was not interested and had been rejected by enough people in my life who were supposed to care about me in some way, and I would not do it again. I told them it was not worth it to me. To please respect that. They would not let it go. They told me I wasn't wrong but I wasn't right, and to think about the happiness it would bring me and how you never know if one person related through blood might like to know their relatives. They told me I shouldn't let fear make decisions for me, and they told me, as the parental figures now in my life, I should listen to them. I told them to stop or I would need them to leave. They said I should accept that multiple people giving me the same advice are right. They told me to stop denying myself. I told them to stop telling me what to do, mind their own business and stay in their lane instead of trying to bulldoze what they think is best. Then I made them leave. They were so angry, but my wife was on my side and she told them they should have accepted my decision. Am I the asshole? Telling them to leave if they refused to stay in their own lane and stop pressuring you showed remarkable restraint in dealing with such an emotional minefield of a topic. They were way out of line, presumptuous and overbearing. And even if you'd screamed and sworn up a storm after a mere 10 minutes of their carrying on, I'd still say not the asshole. Whatever feels best to you is the way to deal with the issue. Any decision you make to benefit yourself and that feels right to you is the correct one. Not the asshole. Your in-laws tried to take on a parental role without being asked. It's inappropriate for them to assume they know what's best for you when they don't fully understand your experiences and feelings. Not the asshole. You made a perfectly reasonable decision not to pursue more contact with your bio family, especially after the pain you've already endured. Your in-laws were out of line for disregarding your boundaries and insisting they know what's best for you. It's great that your wife backed you up on this. It shows she respects your choices and understands the emotional weight of the situation. Stand firm on your boundaries. No one has the right to force you into reliving your trauma. Not the asshole. The nerve of those people. Watch out when you have kids. Your wife's parents are boundary stompers of the first order. Your wife needs to double down on what you told them and warn them of possible consequences of them not listening to you. Not the asshole. Your Ancestry account is probably still active so those people can reach out to you if they want. They have not done it. Edit. Also, I don't think in-laws have honestly good intentions. If that was the case, they would do something useful instead of whatever this is. Not the asshole. It's not the same, I know, but I went NC with my family. The thing is, it's sometimes useful as a warning to others. I'm just fine without my mother. What makes you think I'll take crap from you? Am I the asshole for drinking my GF's chocolate milk and replacing it without telling her? So, my girlfriend and I stopped at a convenience on the way home one night and bought some snacks. She bought a little carton of chocolate milk with a straw. The next day she was away and I saw the chocolate milk in the fridge. It looked really good, so I ended up drinking it, thinking to myself I might stop by the convenience store later and replace it. I did just that, replaced it with a little box of the same brand later that day, and forgot all about it. I didn't think to tell her. A day or so later she goes to drink her chocolate milk box and finds that the carton is missing the usual attached straw and asked me about it. I confessed I drank her milk and replaced it, and since I had bought another box of plain milk that still had the straw, she could use that. I didn't realize the replaced chocolate milk didn't have a straw. She was bothered by it and kept bringing it up, and was bothered that I hadn't told her about it at all, and we probably talked about it for about an hour. She wasn't super upset, but she definitely wouldn't let it go. I said sorry and next time I would tell her ahead of time if something like that came up again. Am I the asshole? If she had done the same to me I would have not have cared. I think she was mainly bothered I took it behind her back. My thought process was that if I just drank it and replaced it, why bother? However, I did miss the detail of the straw. So there's definitely that. Not the asshole. If there's something replaceable in my fridge and my boyfriend consumes it and then replaces it, that's totally fine. It's an easily replaceable consumable item. The fact that it was replaced before I went looking for it would be the respectful thing to do. I think she's overreacting because, A, it was purchased with you and she seemed excited to consume it. B, the straw impeded her ability to do that in real time. I'd honestly be annoyed, but not because you did anything wrong, just because I wanted to drink my chocolate milk. Anything more than a discussion where she expresses annoyance and you apologize is overblown here. It's chocolate milk. This seems awfully petty to me. Life has real problems. Why obsess about a carton of chocolate milk that was drank and replaced before someone noticed it was gone? I would actually rethink a relationship like this. Yeah, but I don't think it's a you thing. But you may have triggered something by taking without asking and assuming it was okay as you just replaced it. My husband had his parents and siblings constantly take his stuff without asking. They just treated anything as he bought as theirs. Sometimes they replaced, sometimes they did not. We've been together for 20 years. He still can be able to see if about a shot of whiskey has been taken out of the bottle. So nah, but you need to chat with your partner after you both have cooled down and get to the bottom of this. Not clear from the post whether you live together, but you clearly have access to the fridge when she is not home. I would have expected that replacing it with the exact same brand would have been fine. To me that wouldn't require a heads up that you had done it only if you couldn't get the same brand, or if you couldn't replace it by the time I might be home to want it. However, she clearly has different boundaries around sharing food. It sounds like you need to make those clear, if the conversation hasn't already, as most couples I know will happily treat each other's food, snacks as fair game, and often not even replace. Not the asshole but either. 1. This isn't about the chocolate milk. Or, 2. Your life is so effing great if this is the only thing you have to quarrel about. You are the asshole. It takes a second to message her and ask if you could have it. It's not about the chocolate milk, it's that you took it without asking, even if you did replace it. Personally I wouldn't care, I'd be none the wiser. My wife probably wouldn't care either, as long as I replaced it. But I know she would appreciate me asking all the same. But here's what's important. Your girlfriend cares, and it's her opinion you should valuing above all.